What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers like glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Times.
What's up? What's up?
And Chris Epcon.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up? So welcome to episode 541 of season 2. So I actually did have the episode number this time. See, look, we're upgrading here. Definitely continue to tune in, like it's ever evolving. So now we have a new format. You're going to see our clips on your favorite social medias. And then there's also going to be a weekly blog, so to speak. I'm still trying to work out the format, but it'll have embedded video and audio and all that good stuff. A one-stop shop for you to check out all of our stuff. So without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this next article comes from yahoo.com, written by Frank Bajak and Dake Kang. And it's titled, "An Online Dump of Chinese Hacking Documents Offers a Rare Window into Pervasive State Surveillance." So when we were talking about this in our group, I was like, see, even China has Snowden's too, because that's kind of what happened. That's what I said. That's what I said. So the Chinese police are investigating this online dump of documents, and it was from a private security contractor, right? Which was linked to one of China's top policing agencies. So what ended up happening was they started putting all this information out there about the hacking activity and the tools that the Chinese are using on their own citizens and foreigners, right? So it was this company, iSoon is what it's called. And what they did was, they had two people that spoke on condition of anonymity, because you know how they get down in China. It's about like Russia. Like all of a sudden, you start talking about stuff you ain't supposed to, you might disappear or end up dead in a prison. You know, that's how they get down. But yeah, so what they're talking about is that they released some information that showed how China goes about surveilling different people overseas, how they're going after like different Muslims and Uyghurs that they have there in China. And different things like that. So again, this is why I made I don't want to say Snowden joke, but it's kind of the same thing. Snowden put it out there. Hey, this is what your government is doing to you. And that's what happened here. So yeah, so this information got put out there, and they start talking about some of the countries that they're going to get at, like Taiwan, Malaysia, I think Afghanistan was one of them, if I remember correctly. But yeah, they were doing different, what do you try to call it? Like surveillance activities, you know, on these countries, and again, their own people, and it got leaked. So it's not just America that has these people that believe they're whistleblowers or doing the right thing. Right? It's happening everywhere. And in China, I imagine we're going to start seeing a little bit more of that, because we see a lot of things that they're doing when it comes to suppression of people of different countries, right? Like their whole thing with Taiwan, them going back and forth and say, yeah, Taiwan belongs to us. Taiwan's like, no, we're independent. We don't belong to you. I think we're just going to start seeing more of this. So it may not necessarily be like this time where it was someone inside one of China's government agencies, but it could be, you know, different people from these other places that they're going after that, you know, start hacking them and going into these different companies that are supporting these policing agencies and doing different stuff like this. So, but yeah, they got some damaging stuff in there, right? So they just talk about the countries that they go after. Like I said, Afghanistan was in there, Thailand, Mongolia, Malaysia. They're just targeting different organizations. And again, this is not anything new, but the fact that it's released by someone inside their government agency, that's where the difference is. So we're gonna see more of this. I predict we're gonna see more of this, and we're gonna start getting more information on how China is doing things. So even though it doesn't have anything like what type of tools they're using or anything like that, it's more of their methodology and seeing how they go about doing things. That'll help other countries combat what they're doing. You know what I mean? But Chris, what's your thoughts on this?
The first thing I thought, the parallels were eerily similar to Snowden. And then additionally that iSoon is a contractor, right? He's a contractor for China. So interestingly enough, you know, I think we can kind of draw CMMC parallels, right?
It's their DIB. Yeah,
it's their DIB. It's the Chinese DIB with the problems, bro. Next thing you know, you got people on Chinese LinkedIn, you know, touting, you know, contractor security, protecting of in this case, classified information, not control the classified information, right? So it's just kind of an interesting parallel. But one thing that really stuck out to me in the article was that iSoon apparently is bragging about a capability that they can bypass multi-factor authentication. So that's really interesting, specifically targeting X or Twitter. And really that comes along the lines with, if the multi-factor authentication for Twitter, depending on, the availability of the factor, if it's email or what you have or things like that, it's really interesting to see that there's levels of two-factor authentication that can be compromised. So in this case, I'm reading that the emails were compromised, so they had the capability to get into the email. So whenever they would send out a request, the hacker would instantly have the two-factor authentication code for them, right? So they can just enter and break into these accounts. So really, what it comes down to me, it's like, is email or even phone safe enough authentication measure for MFA, right? Or should it strictly be one of those one-time pads, right? Is that's really what I'm thinking about right now. Really ways to strengthen multi-factor authentication, maybe using some type of biometrics like with Apple's Face ID or the fingerprinting. So that's really an interesting one for me. And then another interesting thought for me was how if they had a leak, right, was that leak influenced in some way by outside parties, as in the United States? Maybe another rival nation that lied some of this information that their hacking activities, their suite of tools, that they have, what penetration testing, what kind of social engineering techniques they have. That's super freaking interesting, honestly. And I haven't delved into what they've gotten just yet, at least the specifics, but definitely I will be looking into that.
I think you bring up a good point about influence from potentially the U.S. or another country. And you remind me of it was a video we used to watch for either information security or information assurance or something like that.
Cyber awareness.
Maybe cyber awareness, where they would show previous espionage, previous people with information. And there was a case of the one guy who was doing it for Russia. Russia was asking for information in
Johnny
exchange
Walker.
for money. Or
Johnny Walker.
Remember, but was it Johnny Walker?
Johnny Walker, yeah.
Was he the one where he thought he was going to get rescued by the Russians? Like he was like, I'm going to give you the information, and then the Russians are going to pay me, and then they're going to get me out of here, and they didn't get him out of there. But so whoever this person is, if you got caught, it's no longer it was a was. It's no it is. They're gone. And we will never hear from them again. We will never see them again. They have been disappeared. But thank you for your contribution to the world. We greatly appreciate that. Quick PSA, this is not episode 541, it's 542. I failed you. So I will try to fix that in the show notes. And also, please continue to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. More than ever, we have clips and stuff you can share around, so you no longer have to share a 15-minute episode. You can share our 60-second clip to get somebody to be interested in the show, and then come on and subscribe. We want to see more people. But when it comes to the topic, I was really surprised at how cheap a hacking organization can be. We used to hear pay us $50,000, or I'm sorry, pay us $500,000, pay us $1 million. Like the big ones are what hit the news, but it shows this one for a company targeting the Taiwan Health Ministry, only $55,000 to hack the Vietnamese economy ministry. Like, it's very cheap over there to find somebody to do the hacking. So it really goes to show you that depending upon a partner's capabilities as well as the actual cost of living where they're at, it's cheaper. So there it is, people. Like, if you want to be a big time hacker, you don't want to live in one of these countries. You come to the U.S.
So here's what you have to think about, though. So, like, for these countries, like, especially if you have the backing of a foreign state, like it is a drop in the bucket for what they're paying these individuals to do these things from, right? Like if you look at the GDP of some of these countries, China, your Russia, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like the amount of money, maybe not so much Russia, right? Ukraine is getting at them a little bit, but like when you look at the GDP of some of these countries, like the amount they're paying these people, like the hundreds of thousands, let's say they're even paying them a couple million, it is nothing. You know what I mean? Like to give them a trove of information that's gonna make them billions down the line or help them strategically. You know what I mean? So it's nothing. It's nothing to them. Like even if they were to be like, okay, we'll pay you $1 million. Like to one individual, they're like, oh man, I made it. You know, but to the country, they're like,
Right.
this is going to be billions. This is billions of dollars.
nothing.
That's how it is. You know?
Yeah. No. So this is very interesting. It's like Chris said, to see the parallels between the two. Like they're going to have to come up with their own CMMC to try to stop this from happening. Just copy ours. It could be the CMMC.
It's all open source.
Just copy our program.
Use Jordan this and you have 171.
Or don't, and then we could just
Yeah,
continuously be able to monitor you and see what you're doing. So
Exactly.
I love to see it. I'm glad that this happened. It's very similar to like you said, the Snowdens, the Pvt Mannings. Not quite on the NSA tip, where remember NSA lost a lot of their weapons. So a lot of their cyber weapons were leaked. So perhaps that'll be the future. Like we'll actually be able to get the source codes and things of that nature for how they are breaking MFA, which would be great for the rest of the world, to help us protect ourselves and then strengthen our own security. And who's to say that it didn't happen? And the powers that be were able to snatch that up first. So here is all of the open source stuff for you to see. You know, the CISOs and CIOs of the world, but the U.S. will keep all of the weapons, so we can give it to CISA, the Department of Justice, FBI, to then hopefully stop this from happening to our own citizens. And I'm not trying to suggest anything nefarious. We have our own tools for monitoring our own people. We're already aware of that. The Simpsons told us that 2 decades ago. We know the NSA is listening, so it is what it is.
Remember that one scene in Departed? Yeah, there's that one scene in Departed where I think one of the characters was like, Patriot Act, I love it. You know?
Yeah, that's Shannon.
Patriot Act, yeah.
We're going to get them Terrys.
Really get those Terrys all day?
Yeah, and China's doing the same thing, except for probably their surveillance is a lot different than ours. I'm really surprised it's leaked, like because it's so hard to get information out of China. Like it's crazy to me. So maybe they did have help from the allies in some respect to get that out there, or it's just this leaker is just that nice. You know what I mean? Like he's like, nah, too easy, and then gave us this information. So definitely continue to tune in throughout the week. So if you have not already, please subscribe, please like and share, and all that good stuff. Leave us comments, leave us feedback. We have a really positive rating. We almost have 5.0 on Apple. I think it's like a 4.8 or something like that. Out of the ratings that we have. So continue to like us and all that good stuff on whatever your platform of choice is. Hit up all of our websites that go by our name. Typically, you'll find it under the other side of the FW or Ask Us SP. Get me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. You can find me on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Twitter, Threads, and now Instagram and the company TikTok, not me. And you, Chris?
You can find me on LinkedIn under Chris Abercon. Last name is spelled A Bacon.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.